Russian aggression. We have seen increased signs of aggression at the Black Sea and on the Danube. So we believe the conversation today is very important to make sure we increase the pressure, specifically financially and on frozen assets, to make sure we do the necessary steps to ensure that there is a higher chance that Putin sits at the negotiation table. So far, besides the statements, we haven't seen signs in that direction. And we want to make sure, together with our European colleagues, that we take the necessary decisions to keep and increase the pressure, specifically on the shadow fleet and on financial sanctions. Specifically for Romania, because we are bordering the war both on the Danube and on the Black Sea, it is very important for us that we create, together with our European partners, the mechanism to keep the Black Sea and the Danube safe, as we have seen increased signs of aggression closer to our border. On the Gaza-Israel issue, Romania is concerned on the humanitarian side, and we are willing and able to support the humanitarian flights specifically for children and children undergoing cancer treatment, as we have done in the European framework together with partner countries. We support and are clear on the fact that the hostages need to be released and that there is no future for Hamas in the future of Palestine. That being said, Romania has recognized Palestine since 1988, and this is a position we keep. We are looking forward to the United Nations conversations, and we hope that there is going to be a visa allowed for the Palestinian delegation to participate in the UN meetings. On the issue of the shadow fleet of Russia, as I have mentioned, for Romania it is very important that we support, together with European Union mechanisms, the safety and the control at the Black Sea. On the last point of the agenda, which are the working mechanisms, Romania is part of the countries that have worked on proposing new instruments and new solutions, because we believe we need to be clearer on what we do together and move faster in the decisions, and that it is not proper at this moment that we have one country that sometimes blocks the decisions that we all agree on. Thank you.
There are many that seem to be reluctant to use Russian frozen assets. How do you want to overcome their reluctance?
On Romania's side as well, we believe there are still, in terms of legal frameworks, many things to be clarified. But we believe the use of frozen assets, with the potential scenario of moving them in funds that produce higher income in terms of interest rate, for example, that is a solution we're willing to explore, because we believe the resources are needed specifically for reconstruction of bridges, schools and hospitals, and we believe it is only fair that part of that cost is put upon resources that come from Russian frozen assets. What I want to say is that on Romania's side, we believe it is very important to have a stronger European Union and to move faster in common decisions. And we support mechanisms that allow us to do so, as we have supported through President Nicu Șordan and the Prime Minister, common statements, common decisions. If one country, specifically the one you mentioned, decides to have different opinions and different actions, sure, it's their right. But in the same time, we need to find solutions within the European Union to move ahead the 26 countries that we agree upon. Specifically, what is very important for us is to make sure we continue the conversation and start the Cluster 1 negotiations for Republic of Moldova and Ukraine. We believe both of our neighbors have done amazing work in terms of merit-based evaluation on their side, and that means we need to open the negotiations, not just on Cluster 1, but we believe at this moment of time that they have made significant reforms that would allow the European Union and the Commission to open negotiations on more clusters.
Isn't it a little bit like this that the EU has to look? Isn't it a little bit like this that the EU has to look at USA and Russia, what they decide to do in this war, and the EU has no power on your own position to influence this process to peace?
I would say not only the presence of the European Union leaders within the meetings, but also what we have done together as a European Union in supporting Ukraine humanitarian, their military stance, are important factors in these peace negotiations, because I think there are some key factors that lead us forward. One is to make sure we support Ukraine to be able to resist, to be able to protect their territories, and to be able not to give in such a way that this would allow for future steps into actual negotiations. But I believe here it is quite clear that the European Union has a very strong contribution to that. The European Union, specifically my country Romania as well, Republic of Moldova and many of our neighbors, have been host countries for refugees at the beginning of the war and throughout the conflict. And this allows for specifically Ukrainian army, Ukrainian soldiers to know that their families are safe. And this is also very important in the steps towards peace. And also we need to acknowledge again the size of the European market, of the European Union financial market, commercial market, and therefore the power we have with the sanctions and our work in the 19th package of sanctions to make sure we keep and increase the pressure on Russia so as to get Mr. Putin at the negotiation table.
Yes, we have to do it right now, and we have to start building.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I heard the question. Yes.
Mining assets, central bank assets from Europe, one of the options in the special purpose.
It is definitely clear at this moment that more needs to be done to allow for humanitarian aid, to fix the humanitarian situation, but also we believe on the long term on the two-state solution. And here I believe the United Nations is a key place to discuss that. Here it is very important that we make sure everyone is present at the dialogue table. Thank you very much.